Alright. So everything we're going to do right now is going to be all review stuff. It's going to be on volume. You did all this last year. So, but still take attendance. Take notes because you do need to know how to do this.
I've got paper.
Find some paper. Alright. So make sure you catch up to what we're doing. Because I'm going to start and I'm going to go pretty fast.
Alright, right here on the computer.
No. Alright. So we're going to do volume. Volume of different shapes. So this is going to be the first shape. See if I can draw them nicely like I did last period.
Thank you.
Sure.
I said thank you.
You're very nice, boy. You're very nice.
I always tell you thank you.
Alright, stop. Okay, so we have a rectangular prism. That's going to be the first one. Monday. Figure it out. And then we're going to have a triangular prism. Man, I was drawing so much nicer last period.
You were.
And let's make them three-dimensional. And if you can't draw these, don't cry, just try. Alright, so there's a triangular prism. And then we're going to do a cylinder. And I'm going to put it laying down. And a cylinder. Okay, so these are all reviewed. These are stuff you did last year. Okay? No, 6 feet apart. Alright. So we're going to find volume of each shape. We're going to do each one. I'm going to put some measurements on there. So let's copy these down. These are all going to be in feet, okay? So I'll just put feet once. So I'll put it right there, 4 feet. This is 3 and this is 2. This is 4, 3, 5, and 8. I'm doing it in a different color so it stands out. And on this one, we're going to call this 10 and 4 from here to there. Okay, so those are all the measurements of all these shapes, of these prisms and a cylinder. Alright, first the formula. First let's do rectangular prism. Rectangular prism, the formula for this one is V equals big B times H. So that means that volume is equal to the area of the base. Remember, big B is the area of the base, not the base. Okay, so that's a two-dimensional measurement. Times the height. Now the height on volume is not always the vertical height, so it might not always be 2. Okay, like on this one. Or it might not always be 4 on this one. Okay? It's going to be the distance between the two bases. Or I'll always say the distance between the twins. Okay? When you pick a side for a base, it has to have a parallel twin. So on this one, it's easy. The rectangular prism is easy because you can pick the bottom. The bottom has a twin, it's the top. The side has the other side, and the front has the back. They're all parallel twins. They'll never touch. This one's a little bit different, and this one's a little bit different. Okay? Alright, so the first thing we do, let's go ahead and jump back to the rectangular prism. We're going to find the area of the base. So we're going to pick a base. So I'm just going to keep it simple. We're going to do the bottom. So I'm going to put big B equals, and I'm going to draw the base. It looks like that. Okay? And I'm going to put a big B in there just to know that that's the base. And I'm going to include all its measurements. I know that the bottom measures 4 by 3, so I'm just going to put that in there. 4 and 3. Alright, even though that looks like a square, I know that the formula for this, well, this is a rectangle because it's got different measurements, and I know the formula for area of a rectangle is base times height. So base times height is 4 times 3. So I'm going to write that here, 4 times 3, which gives me 12. Okay? And it's 12, and these are feet squared. Okay? It's 12 feet squared. That means that in here, there's 12 squares that can fit. Okay, so I'm going to circle that because I do need that. That is my big B. Now I need to find my height. My height is the distance between the twins. Okay, what I mean by that is that we chose the base as the bottom, So that means its parallel twin is going to be the one on top. And the distance between the top and the bottom is going to be 2 feet. So I'm going to put that right here. H equals 2. Alright, so now we found the area of the base. Now it's time to find the volume. So V equals big B times H. I know big B is 12 because we solved it earlier. And I know the height, or the distance between the twins, is 2. So now I just need to multiply those. 12 times 2 is 24. And this is feet cubed. Okay, volume is always cubed. It's 3-dimensional. Because we're actually fitting physical cubes into a shape. Okay? It's like we're trying to fit these guys inside a box. Okay, these are 3-dimensional. That's what we're trying to fit in there. Okay? So in this box, we could fit 24 of these cubes if they measured 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot. Okay? Alright, now let's do this one. Triangular prism. Ready? Alright, good. Alright, formula for triangular prism is the same thing. V equals big B times H. So same thing, just like we did over here, we have to pick a side for the base. Okay? So I cannot pick the bottom on this one because the bottom does not have any parallel twins. This one in the back is not parallel to the bottom. Or this top one that's slanted is not parallel to the bottom. They're actually touching. So the parallel twins are going to be the two triangles. Those are never going to touch. Okay? So I'm going to put that. Big B equals, I'm going to draw the triangle, put B in it, and put its measurements. I know that this is 3, this is 4, and this is 5. Formula for area of a triangle is 1/2 BH. Okay? So it's half of the base times height. So now let's put the numbers where they go. The base for my base is 3 right here on the bottom. So 3, the height is going to be 4. And the other way of writing this formula instead of half BH, which is what the star is going to give you, is just base times height divided by 2 like that. Okay, so whichever one you want. I like using this one. This one's a lot easier for me. So if you want to use that one, use that one. So now 3 times 4 is 12 divided by 2. So that's going to give me 6 feet squared. And again, I'm going to circle it because I am going to need it. Because that's the value of big B. That's the area of my base. And then just like on what we did on this one, we need to identify the height. And like I said earlier, the height is the distance between the twins. The twins are the 2 triangles, and they are 8 feet apart. Okay, so that's going to be our height. So now I have everything I need. So now let's do the formula. V equals big B times H. V equals, I already know big B is 6. And I know my height, my distance between the twins is 8. So 6 times 8 is 48 feet cubed. Okay, so this one's going to be 3-dimensional. So again, same thing. We're going to fit 48 of these cubes, but if they measured 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot, a lot bigger than this. And that's how many we can fit in that triangular prism box. Alright, now let's move on to the cylinder. Cylinder, same formula. V equals big B times H again. Okay? Same thing as the other ones. We found the base. We identified the base. It's the parallel twin. So on the cylinder, which one's a parallel twin? Well, the circles are, right? The circles are parallel from each other. They're never touch, and they're twins. So let's put that big B equals and go ahead and draw your circle. And your circle has a height of 4. Remember, a circle, if you measure the height of a circle, well, let's draw this the other way. It's going this way. That's your diameter. Okay? But we also are going to need, we're actually only going to need the radius. The radius is going to be half of that, so half of 4 is 2. To solve for area of a circle, the formula is pi r squared. Or pi times r times r. Pi is 3.14, radius is 2, and we're going to square that. First, you always have to do this part first. You're going to square that. So 2 times 2 is 4. And then times 3.14 is 12.56. And this is going to be feet squared. So that's our big B. That's our area of the base. So now we can find volume. V equals big B times H. V equals, big B is this one, 12.56. Times the height or the distance between the twins, which we forgot to identify. H equals the distance apart, how far apart are these circles? They're 10 feet apart. So that's going to go right here. 12.56 times 10, that's going to give me V equals, volume equals 125.6 feet cubed. So now I know the volume of this one. So again, in this cylinder, we're going to squeeze V's, but 125 and then a part of one. Okay, the 0.6 is going to be a piece of one.
That's me.
No. All right, so this is all review. Okay, this you should all know how to do all of this. Okay, so now we're going to learn the new stuff, which is the 8th grade stuff. So here we go. Ready? I'm going to erase all of this. All of that hard work, huh? All right. The ones we're going to learn new are cones. So let's go ahead and draw a cone. Remember, a cone looks like a party hat. Pyramids. Man, that came out nice. Don't be jealous, Riley. And spheres. Okay? So we're gonna find volume of these three: cones, pyramids, and it doesn't have to be a pyramid like this. It could be a triangular pyramid or a square. It doesn't matter. Pyramids and spheres. All right, and just like the last three shapes, they are going to have their own formula. For the cone, the formula is going to be V equals 1/3 big B times H. Or you can say just big B times H, area of the base times the height, divided by 3. For pyramid, it's going to be the exact same thing. V equals 1/3 big B times H, or big B times H divided by 3. And the sphere is the only one that has a special one. It's V equals 4/3 pi r cubed. So we are going to need the radius for this one. All right, real quick, let me just explain why it's 1/3. If you had a cone, let's draw a little cone. Let's say I had a cone like this, and I had a cylinder of the exact same height, and these two circles were identical. Okay? So if I had this cone with this circle and this cylinder with this circle being the same, and these heights being the same, it would take 3 of these to equal one cylinder. And the same exact thing happens with the pyramid. If I had a box, let's draw a box. So if I had a box and a pyramid with the exact same height and the same base, the same square on the bottom, okay, that one right there, it would take 3 pyramids to fill out that box. All right, so let's do one. So let's put some measurements on this cone. Let's say that the measurement here, and again, we're going to do this all in feet. We're going to do that. And then the height of this cone, and the height you'll usually see it from the center all the way up to the tip. Okay, so that's going to be 10 feet. So if you remember the cylinder we did earlier right here, it's the same measurements. So if my theory is right, this should be whatever answer we got on that cylinder divided by 3. Okay? Alright, so let's solve it. Alright, so just like the other ones, we're going to rip off the base. The base is the circle, and it's got a diameter of 4. So that tells me that it has a radius of 2, just like the last one. The height, or the distance between the circle and the tip, is going to be 10. So that's going to be my height. And I'll put that in green so it stands out. So we need to find the area of that circle. So the formula for that is going to be pi r squared 3.14 times the radius, which is 2, squared, which we did earlier, which we already know is going to be 12.56. So notice the base is exactly the same. And I'm going to circle that, and it's feet squared also. Alright, so now we're going to find the volume. So V equals, and let's just use this one. This one's easier because I know you guys are scared of fractions, so let's just do that one. Big B times H divided by 3. V equals, big B is going to be that one, 12.56. Times the height, which is that one right there, and all that divided by 3. Okay? So you are going to need a calculator for that, so go ahead and open up a calculator. Alright, there's my calculator. Okay, so I know that the top one is going to be 12.56 times 10 is going to be 125.6 divided by 3. So that's what we need to find out. 125.6 divided by 3 is going to be 41.86 repeating. And that's going to be feet cubed. So that right there is going to be my volume for this cone. Okay? So that is exactly 1/3 of the cylinder, of the same base and the same height. Alright, now let's do a pyramid. So let's put some measurements on this one. Let's make it easy. Let's make it a square pyramid. So let's go 5 and 5. And again, the height is going to be given to you from the center of the circle, and it's going to go all the way to the tip right there. And let's just say it's, I don't know, 8 feet tall. So I'm going to rip off the base. The base is going to be the square opposite the point. The square is 5 by 5. Formula for area of a square is base times height. So I'm just going to do 5 times 5, which is 25 feet squared. So that's your area of the base. 25 feet squared. And the height, remember the height is from the base to the tip, or the square part to the tip, it's going to be 8 feet. So I'll put that right there. Put it in green. Alright, so now it's my volume. V equals big B times H. So V equals, divided by 3. Don't forget to divide it by 3, because then we're just doing a box. Area of the base is 25, so I'm going to put 25 times the height, which is 8. And all that divided by 3. 25 times 8 is 200. Divided by 3 is, let's see, 200 divided by 3 equals 66.66666 repeating. And that's going to be feet cubed. So that right there would be my volume for this pyramid. Alright, now let's do the sphere. Let's keep it simple. We'll just do the same measurement. So from here all the way across, we're going to say that it's 4 feet. Okay? So we are going to need its radius. So what I like to do on these is you can draw it on here. So this circle that's in the middle, or if you want to rip it out, it's like we cut the circle in half. I know that it's going to go 4 across, so that means that the radius is going to be 2. So R equals 2. So let's go ahead and put it where it goes. So V equals 4/3, and then pi, which is 3.14, times the radius of 2 raised to the 3rd power. Okay? And if you're using the Google calculator, you can just type this in exactly. So let's do that. So 4 divided by 3, and then parentheses. So once you multiply all this up, you're going to get 33, so volume is 33.49. 3 repeating. And this is going to be again in feet cubed. Volume is always in feet cubed because you're trying to fill it with cubes. So that's how you find, that was a review on volume of prisms, volume of spheres. And now this is the new 8th grade stuff, volume of the cones, which you should already know how to do because you know how to do cylinder. The only difference is we're dividing it by 3 because it's going to take 3 of those cones to fill 1 cylinder. Pyramid, same thing. Everything's the same, just as a box, except now you're dividing by 3. And then the sphere is the only one that's really new to you. It's got this weird formula, but all you do is you have to find out what the radius is. Remember, radius goes only halfway to plug it into the formula. So those are the 3 new volumes that you are learning this year.